Node 564560 connected to node 564562. Node 398793 connected to node 564560.
Up there's my call. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. WU7.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, broadcasting in digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, Google WW7ATS. Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our internet page. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, and also you'll find a link to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. And also, we'd like to thank our sister station, WW7STR's 2-meter repeater, 147.08 to simulcast our net's audio with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause on this Christmas Eve in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. So far, we only have Lee, N7KC, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM, checked in for the net. Does anybody else out like to check in? Well, let's move it up to Lee, N7KC, on this Christmas Eve evening.
K9PQ checking in.
K9PQ, copy that.
Waiting on my call to come up here. There we go. I got my call. I got my video. Yes, good evening. This is Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles, actually in the west side of town, just south of the strait, about 2 blocks. The stream is bulking. In other words, it's stopping periodically tonight. So, Dave, I would miss a little bit of what you said, and then it would be back. And I don't think it's due to bandwidth here. I've got a lot of bandwidth, very fast, potentially 300 megabits per second. And up here we're running about the laptop, which I'm using to transmit with OBS, is showing a net speed of about almost 300 megabits per second. So I've got plenty of bandwidth, and the stream is buffering at times someplace. And the latency is pretty good. I notice it must be 5 seconds or so. Anyway, okay, well, here's what's going on. It's really wet here. We are at this morning we were 7.3 inches for the month. That's really quite a rain accumulation here where we are. Years ago, there was a 10-inch rainfall in December, but a lot of that was snow that melted. But this has just been rain. We haven't had any snow yet down here. They got it up on the ridge. Kalahani Ridge looks really nice, but we haven't had any snow. It got down to not quite freezing one night last week. Well, maybe it was earlier this week, I guess, a couple days ago. What's going on outside on the street on West, what do they call it? We're on Woodside. I think of it. Anyway, the Illuminati. It turns out some neighbors up the road here for years have gotten together, and they purchased about 1,500 white bags, like candy bags. They're white, And then they go walking along the street with wheelbarrows full of sand, and they put a little sand in the bottom of the bag, set it on the ground, and they light a candle and put in it. And so what happens is all these bags then show the candlelight, and they do them about every 30 feet, and there's about 1,500 of them. So they go clear from O Street. Well, it's West Samara Drive is what we front here. So they go from O Street, where West Samara Drive tees into it, clear up to 14th, and then down to N. And it's quite something. It's advertised in the paper, so half of Port Angeles, I think, comes and drives through here. Anyway, it's just car after car after car driving through the lighted roadway called the Illuminati. Anyway, aside from that, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a good New Year, 2026. Can you believe it coming up? Wow. Back to you, Dave. This is N7KC, Lee and Port.
Appears to be some digital communications going on. Well, welcome back. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on this Christmas Eve. And let's go to Bob. Where in the world is Bob, K9PQ, tonight? K9PQ, Bob, K9PQ. This is KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Well, we seem to have lost Bob for some reason. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Oh, what a beautiful rainy day, overcast. 41 degrees here and raining outside. Anyway, as I was saying, thanks for New Year's Eve. At this point, I haven't heard any reindeers stomping on top of the roof, so apparently Santa hasn't got to this destination yet in this neighborhood. But in Lake City, so far, there's only been a 0.1 of an inch of rain came down. I've got 41 degrees and raining outside now. And let's see, only excitement in the neighborhood was somebody came through and pried open all the lockable mailboxes in my street and around the other two assigning streets in my neighborhood, and pried them open and took the mail. So interesting. This is about the third time this has happened in the last 2 years in my neighborhood. So anyway, I guess they were looking for something and maybe they found nothing, who knows. But anyway, my mailbox was empty, so I don't know what was in it, but it has departed. So with that, I'm going to try Bob again, K9PQ.
So we'll try one more time for Bob, K9PQ.
Well, no response on Bob, K9PQ. This is Dave, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Well, I'm going to send it back up to Lee in 7KC.
Dave, this is James, WU7N. I guess I'll get off because I think you just called for Lee, so I'm going to go ahead and...
WU7N, copy you checked in. Also, I saw Wade checking in, W7ITL. So let's move up, see if we can pick up Bob again, K9PQ. And no response on Bob. Let's see if Wade's with us, W7ITL in Tacoma. And no response. Well, let's pick up James, WU7N. Welcome to the internet.
1, 2, 3, 4. Am I on the air? Okay. Well, I'm here. So let's see. Well, I got the part about how your mailboxes have been broken into by the Grinch that has stolen Christmas. Sorry to hear that. And Lee, good to have you up there. I did get your initial transmission there. The weather right here is calling for sleet by morning, but not freezing temperatures at my altitude. So that's good. I thought I would show something here that I thought might interest people. Let's see if I flip the camera here. Those are two sizes of Tropicana orange juice. The one on the left over here is old. It's an old bottle. And it is, let's see, what is it? It's 1.53 liters or 1.6 quarts. 1.6 quarts there. And so the same, they come in bundles of 3 at Costco, but now, as you can see, now you only get 1.36 liters or 1.4 quarts. So it's 0.2 of a quart short times 3. So it's 0.6 of a quart short. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and yet another example of shrinkflation. Let's see. Other than that, nothing too exciting here. I was able to help out a neighbor with his car. Let's see. The other excitement here. Got a walk in between the rain showers. And that's about the excitement of my Christmas Eve of 2025 here. Not too much going on. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Net Control. This is WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Turning
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. And get a quick ID here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Well, let's see. I was reading There's supposed to be some northern light activity this evening in this northern part of Washington State and across that line that goes across the border in the U.S. So it'll be interesting to see. Unfortunately, with some rain that we got out there, it may not be visible. But that was information to pass on. And that's pretty much what I've got to say. It's been kind of a quiet day. Tomorrow I'm going to get together with my daughter and, believe it or not, going to go out for Chinese food. And then I was kind of questioning what is going to be open. And according to my daughter, it's a traditional thing in this area for people to go out for Chinese food on Christmas Day. And I said, well, what's open? And she said, 5 restaurants that you don't need reservations to and 1 that you do. So anyway, I'll have to see what she has arranged for tomorrow to do Chinese on Christmas Day. So that's kind of interesting. And let's see. Let's go back up to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, there's my call, and the video should be following shortly. There it is. Okay, well, thanks, Dave. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Okay, I have information. Bob, when you called him and the big noise started, his echo link was grayed out. His transmit button was grayed out and it never was active. So he couldn't get in. And he sent a second text wishing everybody Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah and so forth. So Bob is alive and well, probably in his house, I'm guessing. And James was pretty good here. And Dave, your audio disappeared. You were talking, and it came through real quiet. I could hear it with headphones on, and then it jumped back to full volume. I don't know what's going on, and I'm seeing buffering every now and then, but I'm absolutely confident it's not here. And I went over to Space Weather Prediction Center, and the Aurora Oval. I've got it running now, and it the green gets right down to the edge, right down kind of to the edge of the United States, but it doesn't come any lower yet. Now, it may be that before the night's over, it will. But I'll tell you, you'd be pretty lucky to see any aurora here tonight. It's periodically raining. It's pretty heavy overcast. There must be clouds up there, too. So, okay. Well, this is my second trip around here. I've got some things I want to do with Paula tonight. She's got a movie on hold. Our Saturday night or Friday, like Saturday night, or Wednesday night. By the way, we're going to go to down to the Seasons Cafe at the hospital tomorrow for our thing or for our Christmas dinner. They have a turkey dinner down there and all that. It's about $12, something like that for the turkey dinner, and it's always real nice. So we're going to meet a couple of friends down there and partake of that. So that will be fun. And with that, I will send it back to you, Dave, and I'll listen a little bit longer. I'll go till the half hour, go another 10 minutes, and then I'll pull out. So back to you, Dave. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
N7KC, thanks with that. Let's try Bob again, K9PQ. Yeah, no response on Bob. Let's go to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Looks like I got solid key down on the repeater, and nobody's hearing me on 2 meters, so I don't know if that's our interference tonight or if I've got a problem. Earlier in the day, pretty sure I solved an antenna problem here. I had an antenna hanging in the window, and I think that antenna was doing something strange, shorting out or some such, or giving up or dying or something, because it would cause all sorts of erratic measurements on a power meter I have hooked to this transceiver. And when I put a J-pole on there, it's just as stable as a rock. I can play with the power up and down. It smoothly goes up and down, so I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with that antenna. Well, Chinese on Christmas Day. This must be kind of a theme, a wave in the air, because I bought Chinese yesterday and ate the rest of that today for Christmas Eve, and it just seemed like a good idea to me. I haven't eaten Chinese food in a long time. I actually bought mine at Safeway. They seem to do a fairly good job for that kind of food. Let's see. Also, let's see, January 7th is another Christmas. That's when the Eastern Orthodox people have their Christmas. So if you don't like Christmas tomorrow, keep in mind you got another one coming on January 7th. Other good news here, let's see, a major breakthrough on Monday with T-Mobile. I have a transceiver. My goodness, it's a heavy box for what most electronics weighs today. And I just tested the speed right now. And I got 520 megabits per second download and 38.7 megabits per second upload. When I very first installed it, I was a little slower than that. Let's see, I'm glad I wrote it down at 336. So it's gone from 336 to 520, and I think that's probably because the box that's doing the magic is probably learning how to better communicate with the cell site. But I don't even have it up in a window right now. I just have it sitting on the other side of the room. And it does have a clear shot to the window, but it's about, a yard and a half away from the window. And according to the little picture I got, the actual cell site's on the opposite side of the building. So it's having to kind of do a U-turn. I guess radio waves can do that, can't they? Do a little U-turn as it goes over the roof and comes into that window. It's on the wrong side of the house. So anyway, all kinds of progress being made here. I thought an amateur antenna problem here had been solved. I don't know with all the other interference or whatever is going on with the repeater tonight. Apparently nobody can hear me on 2 meters. So I've tried several times. The next time round, I'll try jacking the power up and see if Dave can hear me on 2 meters that way. So this is James, WAU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let me turn it back to our net control. So I'm hitting the
WU7N.
WU7N, we getting your audio on 2 meters fine. Seems like at my place what it's doing is the digital audio is feedbacking through 2 meters. I don't know why it's doing that this evening. But outside of that, the digital audio from everybody seems to be good coming off. And so who knows what's going on this evening for some reason. One of the things on the software up at the site is probably having a problem. So that's about it. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go back to Lee for a final then, N7KC.
There's my call. And there's the audio. Well, very good. Once again, this is Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles. Okay. Bob, I think, has hung up his hat tonight. He's been texting. I sent him a note saying that, Dave, that you would call him a second time and all that. but he's I don't know when he gets set up there. It's probably a little too early. He's not been in his house long enough to have everything put together. Anyway, James, your audio is good on the stream, and it sounds like you've got a pretty wide bandwidth service there. Wow. Yeah. Well, the best we can do here is just a little over 300 megabits per second. So, but that's extremely fast for the normal sort of things I do. Anyway, but I don't know. I don't have much else to add, Dave. I'm about a half hour into it, so I think I will just pull the plug and get on with the evening. And once again, say Merry Christmas and all that stuff to the rest of you guys, and we'll catch you. We'll catch you maybe Saturday. So back to you, Dave. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Go ahead.
N7KC, thanks for that. Let's go to James, WU7N. U7N.
Call signs up. Testing. WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Okay, so when Lee started, there was a very brief dropout for him. And then there's some kind of loud background noise, very loud on the repeater. The repeater seems to be stuck key down. And Dave, when you talk, there's an echo. You're very understandable, but there's definitely some sort of an echo going on. So anyway, that's we definitely have got something going on here we need to troubleshoot. Lee, I'm very pleased with the speed of this thing. It's quite a big box, and it's pretty heavy. That is the transceiver. They call it a gateway. And then it does its thing on cellular frequencies, and then it also does its thing on Wi-Fi frequencies, which is kind of an impressive piece of engineering. And then they also gave me a mesh router I stick far away, and it somehow increases the range of the Wi-Fi. So, but I don't need that. I mean, right now the box, the gateway transceiver, whatever you wish to call it, is probably about 1.5 meters away from the computer that it's using right now. So I don't need any sort of range extension for that box. So anyway, the technology to me is absolutely mind-boggling that they can get that many bits per second through the air. It apparently does use cell sites. I spoke with a lady who says she used to do this kind of thing. So it was interesting to talk with her about it. I don't know how well this will hold up during a power outage, not because of I don't have emergency power here. It's the other end. She told me she didn't think it would work very well because the cell sites have just a matter of hours of battery backup and then they're done. So, testing 1 2 3 4, testing 1 2 3 4, testing 1 2 3 4. Okay, so now I'm back. WU7N now back. I noticed during that whole time I was off for maybe 30 seconds. The repeater is key down. So anyway, we seem to be having challenges tonight. 8:30 after. I'll go, Dave, as long as you want to go. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let's turn it back to net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Dave, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and push the stop button right.
WU7N, thanks with that. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. Again, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, we seem to be having audio problems this evening, so let's wrap it up, and I'll give it back to you, James, for a final.
WU7N, can you hear me at all on 2 meters, Dave?
WU7N, yeah, good copy on 2 meters.
Okay, I'm going to give a down count here. I'm pumping a lot of power into that antenna. I should not have to be pumping that much in. 7, 6, 5.
You're still quiet in 2 meters.
WU7N. Okay, Dave, I saw your picture flash up recently, so we may have stepped on each other on the digital side. Okay, we got problems here. Tomorrow's Christmas, but the weekend's maybe a good time to troubleshoot some of this stuff and see what's going on. What I tried to do with my new antenna is I tried full power, like 45 watts into that new antenna, and I guess you could hear me with that. I would hope so. I'm 5 clicks away from the antenna line of sight to the repeater site. And then I kept turning it down. I don't know when you lost me. If you want to tell me, if you think you heard I was doing a down count from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you just, last thing you heard was a 3 or something, that would be of use to me. I guess I'll have to figure out what else to do, because the other antenna I was using worked on very low power when it decided to work, but there's something wrong with it, intermittently going in and out. This antenna works as solid as a rock, but I have to put up popcorn frying power into the antenna to make it function. So anyway, that's the story here, Dave. Let me turn it back to you for the final wrap-up tonight. Merry Christmas, everybody, and to Bob, if you can hear me, and to Lee, if you can hear me, and Dave, if you can hear me, thank you very much for checking into the net on Christmas Eve. This is WU7N, turning it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
WU7N, thanks with that. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. And with that, we're going to terminate the net this evening at 8:35. So, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, normally held Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So with that, we'll toggle off the net. This is Dave, KD7CYM, on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
WU7N testing. WU7N testing with 5 watts. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. WU7N. WU7N Whiskey Uniform 7 November, testing with about 3 watts. WU7N closing down for the night.